fabled heat, where magic meets desire. Subscribe to ignite the fantasy.
Chapter 1: The Solitude of the Moon. The boy's fingers trailed across the rough, gray stone as he walked through the desolate landscape. The air was heavy with an unsettling silence, a palpable absence that seemed to cling to him like a shroud. His existence was one of emptiness, a void that seemed to swallow him whole. He knew not love or hate, joy or sadness, nor anything in between. As he walked, the moon above cast eerie shadows on the ground, making it seem as though the very land itself was alive and watching him. The boy felt a shiver run down his spine, but it was not fear that coursed through his veins, it was something more akin to curiosity. His footsteps echoed through the stillness, a stark reminder of his isolation. Yet, in this desolate world, he found a strange sense of comfort. It was as though he had been born for this very purpose, to walk alone, surrounded by an unyielding silence. But on this particular night, something was different. A faint humming noise drifted through the air, barely audible above the crickets' gentle chirping. The boy's ears perked up, and his heart quickened as he strained to locate the source of the sound. As he stood there, transfixed by the mystery of the humming noise, a memory began to surface in his mind, one that had long been buried beneath the weight of his solitude. Memory fragment *. The boy's eyes fluttered open, and he found himself back in the world he thought he'd left behind. He was no longer alone, there was someone else with him. A girl with piercing green eyes and raven-black hair sat beside him, her fingers intertwined with his as they walked through a lush forest filled with wildflowers. The memory faded as quickly as it appeared, leaving the boy feeling more bewildered than ever. But he couldn't shake off the feeling that this memory was trying to tell him something important. End of Chapter 1. Chapter 2: The Language of Songs. Days turned into weeks, and weeks blended together like the sand in an hourglass. Kael wandered the desolate landscape, searching for any sign of his friend, but there were none. No whispers on the wind, no footprints in the dust, and no hints of her existence beyond that one fleeting moment. He remembered the way she used to smile, the sparkle in her eyes when they talked about the impossible, the songs they would sing together under the moonlight. The boy's fingers involuntarily strayed towards his instrument, a deep longing brewing within him. He yearned to hear her voice again, to feel the warmth of her presence, and to bask in the radiance of their shared laughter. As he walked further into the night, the silence began to take on a new quality. It was no longer just an absence, but a palpable presence that wrapped around him like a shroud. The darkness seemed to seep into his pores, leaving him feeling drained and desolate. Yet, even in this state of despair, he felt something stir within him. It was a spark of hope, a flame that flickered with every step he took towards the unknown. Kael's heart swelled with emotion as he recalled the countless nights they spent singing together under the stars. He remembered the way her voice blended with his, creating a harmony that seemed to capture the essence of their bond. But most of all, he remembered the way she looked at him, with eyes that saw beyond the surface, into the very depths of his soul. As the memory washed over him, Kael felt a lump form in his throat. He wanted nothing more than to turn back time and hold her close once again, to feel her warmth against his skin and bask in the radiance of their shared love. But that was impossible, or so he thought. End of Chapter 2. Chapter 3: The Realm Beyond Realms. Weeks turned into months as Kael poured his heart and soul into mastering the instrument. He learned new melodies and songs, each one more beautiful than the last. His music echoed through the moon's desolate landscape like a beacon, but still, there was no sign of his friend. The notes seemed to dance on his fingers, alive with an otherworldly energy. It was as though he had tapped into a hidden realm, where the music flowed from his very being and merged with the night itself. As he played on, Kael began to sense that something was changing within him, a subtle shift in the balance of his emotions. He felt more grounded, more at peace, as if the music had somehow mended the cracks within him. The stars above seemed brighter now, and the shadows on the ground appeared less ominous. For the first time in what felt like an eternity, Kael dared to hope that he would find her, not just as a friend, but perhaps something more. And yet, with every note he played, Kael couldn't shake off the feeling that he was being watched. It was as though the very fabric of reality had shifted, and he was now standing on the cusp of a new world, one where love and loss, joy and sorrow, all blended together in perfect harmony. As the music reached its crescendo, Kael felt himself lift off the ground, his feet no longer touching the earth. He soared above the landscape, the stars whirling around him like diamonds on black velvet. And in that moment, he knew, he was not just a boy lost in an empty world, he was a wanderer into the realms beyond. End of Chapter 3. Chapter 4, The Sun's Revelation. Deep within the labyrinth of reflections and darkness, Kael stumbled upon an echo of his own voice, faint yet familiar. Dost thou still wish to seek her? Kael steeled himself against the uncertainty. Yes, he replied firmly. The echoes around him seemed to stir, like a gentle breeze rustling through dry leaves. The darkness began to dissipate, and an unexpected warmth spread throughout his being, a feeling akin to sunrise breaking over a horizon shrouded in mist. He knew not what lay ahead, but with every step he took towards the unknown, Kael felt himself becoming more than just a boy lost in an empty world. He was becoming something greater, a seeker of hope, a wanderer into the realms beyond. As the warmth spread through his being, Kael's thoughts turned to the girl. Where was she? Was she still out there, waiting for him? And what lay between them, a bond that went far beyond friendship? The questions swirled in his mind like a maelstrom, but one thing was certain, he would find her. He had to. End of Chapter 4.